Me, 35, tech lead at software company in Seattle, leading a team of 12 developers, mix of front-end and back-end. Been in this role for 14 months, first leadership position. Came up through the ranks as senior developer. Always been vocal about women in tech, about inclusion. Fought hard to get this opportunity as woman in leadership. Determined to create better culture than I experienced. Company is typical tech startup, 200 employees. About 70% male, especially in engineering. I'm one of 3 women engineering leads. Made it my mission to change that ratio. To make tech more welcoming for women. To call out bro culture and toxic behavior. Team composition when I started, 9 men, 3 women. Pretty standard for tech, unfortunately. But I've been working to improve that balance. Hired 2 women in past year, 1 man left. Now it's 8 men, for women, better ratio. First few months, everything seemed normal. Team collaborated well, projects shipped on time. Normal amount of discussion, debate, problem solving. People seemed engaged, no major red flags. Then around month 6, started noticing something strange. The men on my team stopped talking to me in person. They'd send Slack messages instead of walking over. They'd email instead of coming to my desk. Everything became digital, nothing face-to-face. At first thought it was just remote work culture. COVID changed how people communicate. Everyone uses Slack now. But it's more than that. It's deliberate avoidance. They'll talk to each other in person, just not to me. Watch them collaborate at their desks, normal conversations. But when they need to talk to me, it's always written. Even when I'm sitting 10 feet away, they'll Slack me, instead of just turning around and asking. The women on my team don't do this. They talk to me normally. Come on my desk, have casual conversations. We collaborate fluidly, both written and verbal. But the men have gone completely digital only with me. Try to address it casually in stand-up one morning. Hey, you guys know you can just talk to me in person, right? Don't need to Slack everything. I'm right here. Awkward silence. They nod but don't change behavior. Next day, same thing. All communication through Slack or email. Even in meetings, the men are different now. They don't make eye contact with me. They address the room instead of me directly. Keep all their comments formal and documented. Notice they've started recording all our meetings. Why are we recording stand-up? I ask one day. Kevin, 28, senior developer, answers carefully. Just for documentation purposes, in case anyone misses it. Seems excessive, but don't push back. Also notice they've stopped joining me for lunch. Used to have casual team lunches, grab food together. Now the men always have excuses, always busy. The women still join me, but the men vanish. See them getting lunch together, just not with me. One afternoon, need to discuss a technical decision with Alex. Alex is 31, been with company 4 years, solid backend developer. Walk over to his desk. Hey Alex, got a minute to discuss the API design. He looks uncomfortable. Can you Slack me the details? I'm literally right here. Can we just talk about it? He's visibly anxious. I'd prefer to have it in writing. This is getting ridiculous. It's a technical discussion. Alex, what's going on? Why won't you just talk to me? He's choosing words very carefully. I just think it's better to keep everything documented. Better for who? Better why? Long pause. He won't look at me. Just my preference. Please Slack me the details. Walk away frustrated. Something is seriously wrong. Bring it up with my manager, Sarah. She's VP of engineering. The men on my team have stopped talking to me in person. Everything is Slack or email. They're avoiding me. She looks concerned. Any idea why? No. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Has there been any conflict, any incidents? Think about it. Can't remember any major issues. Not that I can think of, just normal work stuff. She suggests I talk to them directly, address it. Maybe have one-on-ones, see what's going on. Schedule one-on-one with Kevin. He's been here longest. He shows up with a notebook, sits across from me formally. Thanks for meeting, Kevin. Wanted to check in on team dynamics. He's immediately guarded. Everything's pine from my perspective. The guys have stopped talking to me in person, all digital now. Have you noticed that? Is there a reason? He shifts uncomfortably. Just efficient communication. Kevin, be honest with me. What's really going on? Long silence. He's clearly debating something. Can I speak candidly without it affecting my performance review? Of course, I want honest feedback. He takes a deep breath. Decision made. We're protecting ourselves. Protecting yourselves from what? From potential HR issues, from misunderstandings, from situations that could be taken the wrong way. This shocks me. What situations? I don't understand. He's speaking carefully, measuring every word. After what happened with Derek, we all got nervous. Derek, one of the developers who left 8 months ago. What about Derek? He left for another opportunity. Kevin looks at me like I'm being deliberately obtuse. He left because of the HR complaint you filed. Feel defensive immediately. That was a legitimate issue. He made an inappropriate comment in a meeting. Kevin nods slowly. He made a joke about Stack Overflow. Said something about copying code. Standard developer humor. You reported it as creating hostile work environment. Remember that differently. It was more than just a joke. He was being dismissive of junior developers who ask questions, making them feel stupid for not knowing things. Kevin is quiet, then speaks carefully. That's not how the rest of us heard it. We heard a standard joke about how all developers use Stack Overflow, but you reported him to HR for making people feel unwelcome. He continues. HR investigation took 3 weeks. Derek had to meet with him 5 times. It went in his file. His manager got involved. It affected his review. He left 2 months later because of the stigma. Never thought about the full impact of that report. I was trying to create an inclusive environment. You created an environment where we're scared to talk, scared to make jokes, scared to have normal interactions, scared to be alone with you or say anything that might be taken wrong. This is not what I intended at all. So, you all decided to only communicate in writing. He nods. We have a rule now, nothing verbal with you. Everything documented, everything in Slack or email. Never alone with you. Always witnesses if we have to interact. The rule they created, like I'm a danger to them. That's excessive. I'm not trying to trap anyone. Kevin's expression suggests he doesn't believe that. What about the thing with Brad last month? Brad is 34, front-end developer, quiet guy. What thing with Brad? He held the door for you coming into the building. You told him that was benevolent sexism, that you don't need men to hold doors, can do it yourself. Do remember that? Thought I was making a point. I was pointing out gendered assumptions about helpfulness. Kevin shakes his head. You made him feel like shit for doing something nice, something he'd do for anyone. Now he walks ahead of you and lets doors close. Because he's scared to be accused of sexism again. Feel defensive, but also uncomfortable. What about the code review situation with Mike? Mike is 29, mid-level developer. What code review situation? He pushed back on one of your PRs, found a bug. You said he was being condescending. Said he wouldn't question a male, lead the same way. Remember that clearly he was being difficult. He was being unnecessarily critical of my approach. Kevin looks directly at me now. He found an actual bug, a race condition you missed. He was doing his job as a reviewer, but you made it about gender instead of the code. He's not done. More examples coming. Or the time you corrected Jason's terminology in stand-up. He said, you guys referring to the team? You stopped the meeting to lecture about gendered language. Made him apologize for saying guys instead of team. That was important. Language matters. Inclusive language is part of creating inclusive culture. Kevin's getting more frustrated now. Or when you reassign the AI project from Tom to Lisa. Tom had been working on it for a month, knew the code base. You gave it to Lisa because you said she needed visibility. Even though she had less experience with ML, was trying to give opportunities to women on the team. I was creating growth opportunities for underrepresented talent. You were taking work from qualified people based on gender. Tom spent a month on that project, then got it taken away. Not because of his performance, because he's male. He leans forward, voice firm. Do you know what it's like to work on a team where you're constantly monitored? Where every word could be taken as sexist or inappropriate? Where doing good work doesn't matter as much as your gender? where you can't be yourself because everything is a potential HR problem. Each word lands hard, uncomfortable truths. We're all walking on eggshells all the time. Can't make jokes, can't disagree, can't even hold doors. Everything we do is analyzed through a gender lens. Instead of just being colleagues working on code. Feel tears threatening. This is devastating. So the email-only rule is to protect yourselves. For me, reporting normal interactions as problematic. He nods. Written communication can't be misinterpreted. If you say I said something inappropriate, I have proof. If you claim I was condescending, the email shows context. It's the only way we feel safe working with you. The word safe hits hard. They don't feel safe with me. Does everyone feel this way? Kevin is quiet for a moment. All the guys do. We've talked about it. We all agreed on the email-only rule. We all avoid being alone with you. We all record meetings to protect ourselves. Feel sick? I've created this environment. What about the women on the team? They seem fine. They talk to you normally. Kevin nods because they're not at risk. You don't analyze their every word for sexism. You don't report them for being condescending. They can just be themselves. We can't. We sit in uncomfortable silence. I never meant to create this, never wanted this. He softened slightly. I believe you meant well, but impact matters more than intent. And the impact is that half your team is terrified of you. My own words about impact used against me. Is this why people are leaving the team? 2 developers left in past 6 months, both men. Thought they left for better opportunities. Derek left because of the HR thing. Chris left because he couldn't take the environment anymore. So it was the most stressful job he'd ever had. Not because of the work, because of the culture you created. Feel completely devastated. This is worse than I thought. What can I do? How do I fix this? Kevin looks skeptical. Can you fix it? Can you stop seeing everything through gender lens? Can you let us just be developers instead of representatives of patriarchy? The question is fair. Can I do that? I could try. I want to try. He stands up, meeting over. We'll see. But the guys are pretty skeptical. Years of walking on eggshells doesn't go away overnight. He leaves. I sit alone processing everything. That evening, can't stop thinking about the conversation. About the rule they created, the fear they feel. About Derek leaving, Chris leaving, more considering it. Pull up the HR complaint I filed about Derek. Read it with fresh eyes. See it differently now. He made a joke about Stack Overflow that I interpreted as hostile. Reported it as creating unwelcoming environment. HR investigated him thoroughly, damaged his reputation. All for a joke that everyone else thought was normal. Look at my Slack history with the team. See the pattern I didn't notice before. I correct their language constantly. Guys should be team or everyone. Man hours should be person hours. Comment on jokes being inappropriate. Point out potential bias in their suggestions. Every interaction is a teaching moment about gender. No wonder they went email only. It's all documented evidence. Next morning, call meeting with my manager, Sarah. Tell her everything Kevin said about the email-only rule, the fear, the protection strategy. I've created an environment where the men are terrified of me, where they document everything to protect themselves, where they can't be themselves or work normally. Sarah listens carefully, not surprised. I was wondering when you'd realize this. You knew and didn't say anything. She leans back, choosing words carefully. I was hoping you'd figure it out through the feedback, but you've been resistant to any suggestion you're too aggressive, any hint that your approach might be problematic. She pulls out a folder, shows me. I've had 3 male developers asked to transfer off your team. 2 left the company, 1 I moved to another team, all citing the same issues, hostile environment, constant fear. Never knew about the transfer requests. Why didn't you tell me? I tried. You said they were resistant to having a female lead, that they couldn't handle being held accountable, that their complaints were just male fragility. She's right. That's exactly what I said. You've been so focused on advocating for women that you can't see when you're creating problems for men. Can't hear feedback that doesn't fit your narrative. She shows me more documents. Performance reviews you've written. The men consistently get needs improvement on collaboration. The women consistently get exceeds expectations, even when the metrics show the opposite. Look at the reviews. The bias is clear. I've been rating based on gender, not performance. Team satisfaction scores tell the story too. Women on your team rate satisfaction at August 5th, 10. Men on your team rated at March 2nd, 10. That's the most divided team in the entire company. The numbers are devastating, undeniable. What do I do, Sarah? How do I fix this? You stop seeing everything as a gender issue. You treat people as individuals, not as representatives. You create space for normal work interactions without analyzing everything for potential sexism. She leans forward, firm but not unkind. And you need to acknowledge what you've done. To the team, to the men you've driven away. You need to rebuild trust that you've destroyed. Feel tears starting. This is overwhelming. I thought I was creating inclusive environment. You created inclusive environment for women by making it hostile for men. That's not inclusion. That's just different exclusion. Spend the weekend really examining my behavior. Every interaction, every decision, every report. See the pattern I was blind to before. Everything filtered through gender. Nothing evaluated neutrally. Derek's joke, that was just a joke. Brad holding the door, that was just being polite. Mike's code review, that was just doing his job. Tom's project, that he earned through his work. All reinterpreted through lens of gender politics. All turned into problems when they were just normal work. Monday morning, call all team meeting. Everyone shows up, the men looking guarded. They sit with space between themselves and me. Women sit closer, men keep distance. The visual representation of the divide I created. I need to talk to you all about something important. Everyone's attention on me, waiting. Kevin was honest with me last week about team dynamics, about the email-only rule, about the fear some of you feel, about how I've created an environment where you can't be yourselves. The men are watching carefully. Women look surprised. I thought I was creating inclusive culture, but I was only creating it for some of you, while making it hostile for others. Kevin is listening, still guarded but attentive. I've been filtering everything through gender. Every interaction, every decision, every feedback. Seeing sexism where there was just normal work. Seeing problems where there was just human interaction. Alex speaks up. Are things going to change? His skepticism is earned fair. Yes, they have to. I've been wrong about a lot. Wrong about Derek. Wrong about code reviews. Wrong about language policing. Wrong about assignments. Wrong about treating you all differently based on gender. Brad asks, can we go back to normal interactions? Can we talk in person without everything being documented? That's the question. Can we rebuild that trust? I want to, but I understand you need to see change first. Need to see that I mean it, that it's real, that I'm not going to weaponize every interaction. Mike speaks up, quiet until now. What about the HR stuff, the reports? Will you stop reporting every little thing? Valid question, deserves honest answer. I will only report actual harassment or discrimination. Not jokes, not normal disagreements, not holding doors. Not things that can be addressed directly in the moment. Jason adds, what about the gender lens stuff? Can we just be developers without everything being political? This is the core of it. Can I let go of the framework? Yes, I'll evaluate work on merit, not gender. I'll give feedback based on performance, not identity. I'll treat you as individuals, not as gender representatives. Tom speaks, the one who had project taken away. What about opportunities? Will they be fair now? Will you assign work based on who's qualified, instead of who fits diversity goals? The question hurts because it's accurate. Yes, assignments based on skills and experience. Promotions based on performance and readiness, not on balancing gender ratios. One of the women, Lisa, speaks up. What about us? Does this mean less support? Important question. They need reassurance too. No, but support will be based on need, not gender. If you need help or opportunities, you'll get them, but not at the expense of qualified colleagues. She nods, seems to understand. I appreciate you being honest, she says. Some of us noticed the different treatment, felt uncomfortable about getting preferential assignments. Kevin was right. It affected the women too, just differently, making them question their achievements. Spend the next weeks really working to change. Catch myself about to correct language, stop. About to analyze interaction through gender lens, resist. About to give assignment based on gender, choose based on skills. It's harder than expected, habit deeply ingrained. But slowly, team dynamics start to shift. Alex comes to my desk to ask a technical question. First time in months, he's talked to me in person. Hey, I got a minute to discuss the database schema. Feel relief flooding through me. Of course, let's talk through it. We have normal technical discussion, just about code. No gender analysis, no hidden meanings, just work. Later that week, Brad holds the door for me. Tenses, waiting for my reaction. Thanks, Brad, I say naturally. He relaxes visibly, small smile. Another small step toward normal. Month after the team meeting, Kevin stops by my desk. Team lunch today, you want to come? First invitation in almost a year. I'd love to. Thanks for asking. At lunch, the men are still somewhat guarded. But they're talking, making jokes, being themselves. Nobody's recording, nobody's documenting. Just colleagues having lunch together. 3 months later, team satisfaction scores come back. Men's scores up to 6.8 out of 10, women's still at August 3rd, 10. Not perfect, but significant improvement. More importantly, nobody's requesting transfers. My manager, Sarah, notices the change. Team dynamics are much better. Men seem less stressed, more engaged. What changed? I stopped being so focused on gender. Started focusing on actual work and performance. Started treating people as individuals. She nods approvingly. That's the leader you should have been from the start. 6 months after Kevin's honesty, having one-on-one with him. I wanted to thank you for being honest with me, for telling me what was really happening, even though it was uncomfortable and risky. He smiles, genuinely warm. Thank you for actually listening and changing. Most people would have gotten defensive, would have doubled down on their approach. We talk about the team, how things have improved. Guys are way more comfortable now. We can just work, just be ourselves. Don't have to overthink every interaction. He pauses, then continues. You know what's funny? Team is actually more inclusive now. Now that you stop forcing it. Now that you let people just be people. He's right, the irony is clear. Inclusion doesn't work when it excludes half the team. Yeah, took us a while to figure that out. 1 year after everything changed, Derek reaches out. The developer who left after my HR complaint. Asks if he can get coffee, wants to talk. Meet him at a cafe near the office. He's doing well. Working at another company, seems happier. I heard the team environment improved. Heard you change your approach significantly. Feel embarrassed about what happened. Derek, I owe you an apology for the HR complaint. For making that joke into a bigger issue than it was. For not just addressing it directly with you. He's quiet, then speaks carefully. That was rough, not gonna lie. The investigation, the stigma, having to leave. Lost friends here, lost momentum in my career. Each word is a reminder of the harm I caused. I was trying to create safe environment. But you weren't unsafe, you were just being yourself. He nods, appreciates the acknowledgement. You know what bothered me most? It was one joke one moment, and suddenly I'm in HR being investigated. No conversation first, no chance to apologize. Just straight to formal complaint. He's right, I robbed him of the chance to make it right. I should have talked to you directly first, given you the benefit of the doubt, assumed good intent, and addressed it in the moment. He shrugs, can't change it now. But I hope other people don't go through that. Hope you learned something from it. I did. I learned a lot. Too late for you, though. We finished coffee, part on better terms. But the damage to his career can't be undone. TFW, you realize male developers only email you. TFW, they've created rule to never be alone with you. TFW, they record all meetings to protect themselves. TFW, they're terrified of saying anything you'll report. TFW, you drove away good developers with constant HR complaints. TFW, you analyzed every interaction through gender lens. TFW, you gave opportunities based on gender, not merit. TFW, you created hostile environment while claiming inclusion. TFW, team satisfaction scores show men hate working with you. TFW, you have to completely rebuild trust you destroyed. Still believe in women in tech and inclusion. Still think representation matters in engineering. Still advocate for fair treatment of all developers. But now understand that includes treating men fairly. Not reporting every joke or disagreement. Not analyzing every interaction for hidden sexism. Not giving opportunities based on demographics. Just evaluating work on merit and treating people as individuals. Kevin taught me that by being brave enough to be honest. Even though it was risky, even though it was hard, even though I could have retaliated or dismissed him. He told me what I needed to hear, that my inclusion was actually exclusion, that my advocacy was actually discrimination, that my safety measures were actually creating fear. Lost 2 good developers learning that lesson, but saved the rest by actually changing, by letting go of the gender lens, by focusing on work instead of identity, by creating an environment where everyone can thrive, not just the people I decided to protect. Better to learn at 35 than never learn. Better to fix it than lose the whole team. Better to treat people equally than favor one gender. That's what good leadership looks like. What mine finally became. After the men stopped talking to me, and one had courage to explain why, and I had humility to listen and change, instead of defending and dismissing. That saved my team, saved my leadership, and made me better at my job. By finally understanding that inclusion means including everyone, even the men I was protecting everyone from, who were just developers trying to do their jobs, without being treated like threats, without being analyzed for potential sexism, without being afraid of their own team lead. Now they're not afraid anymore. Now they talk to me in person. Now they can be themselves. Now we're actually a team that works together based on skills, not divided by gender politics. That's what I should have built from the start. What I finally built after nearly destroying it. Thanks to developers who stayed, who gave me a chance to change, who taught me what real inclusion means, by showing me who I was excluding, while claiming to include everyone.